Now, this is an example of a back-to-back stem and leaf diagram. This one is comparing boys with girls, amount of time taken to travel to school. So if you look at the girls side first, over here, that's 13, smallest number, 14, and so on. Biggest number here is 42. And that key explains how this works. So 3 and 0 means 30. For the boys, it works slightly different. That is not 21, it's actually 12. And that's 13, and so on. Biggest number there is 49. Right, so remember, these are the tens. You also notice these numbers are going smallest to biggest, and the other way, smallest to biggest, that way. And that key there explains how this side works. So 1 and 2 means 21. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is compare the distribution of boys' data with the girls' data. And just to make it easier, what I've done is I've put all the boys' data along here, all these numbers, starting with 12, the smallest number, and then finishing off with 49 right there. And then do the same thing for the girls' data, starting off with 13 and then finishing off at 42. Now to compare the distribution, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the median of this data and the interquartile range, and then do the same thing for the girls, work out the median, interquartile range, and make the comparison that way. Now I've talked about how to find the median and interquartile range in a previous video. Start with the median. In order to find the median, it's the middle number, right? Remember, these numbers have to be smallest to biggest, which is the case, already smallest to biggest. So then you can find the middle. So you can do it this way. 1 for you, 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for me, and then find the middle that way. Or what you can do is count the number of numbers here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 there. Remember to add 1 and then half it. So that's 12 divided by 2 is 6. We're looking for the 6th value. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th. Median is 24. That's for the boys. We're going to work at the interquartile range. For that, you need to know the upper quartile and then the lower quartile. It's upper quartile minus lower quartile. So what you do is you draw a wing on the right hand side of the median and one on the left hand side. The upper quartile is the middle of these numbers here that I've just circled. That one's the middle. That's the upper quartile. And the lower quartile is the middle of this ring over here, which is that. So you do 28 take away 13, 15. Interquartile range is 15 for the boys. Do similar sort of thing for the girls here to work at the median. Find the middle. 12, 13, 14, 15. And then remember to add 1 and then half it. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So you're looking for the 8th person. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th. Median is 28 for the girls. Slightly higher than the boys. Interquartile range. Upper quartile take by lower quartile. Upper quartile first. Find the middle. Upper quartile is 33. Lower quartile, that's the middle. So what you then do is 33 take away 17, 16. The interquartile range is nearly the same as the interquartile range for the boys, but slightly higher. But some of you might be wondering now, how do you find the middle, the median of this? One for you, one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. The middle is right there. As you can see, if that's the middle, you've got 3 on this side, 3 on that side, that has to be the middle. So what's that number there? That number there is in between 7 and 8. So you look for the number that's between 7 and 8. That's 7.5. That would be the median. Upper quartile is the middle of this ring, or wing, whatever you want to call it. And this one here is the lower quartile of this side. That's the lower quartile, upper quartile. You can work out interquartile range by doing upper quartile take away lower quartile. Now what about this one here? Well, the middle is right there. Well, if you can do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Add 1 as usual, and then half it. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So you're looking for 4.5 position. First, second, third, fourth. 4.5 position is right here. So you're looking for this number that's between 12 and 17. To find the number that's between 12 and 17, you do this: 12 at 17 and then divide by 2. That's going to be 29 divided by 2. Half of 29 is going to be 14.5. So that's 14.5. That's the median of this data set. Right, the middle of this is this bit over here. To find the lower quartile, you need to find the number that's between 7 and 10. So you do 7 at 10 and then half it. That's 17 divided by 2. That's going to be 8.5. So lower quartile is 8.5. Right, upper quartile. The number that's between 17 and 18, that's pretty straightforward. That's 17.5. So here we have lower quartile, upper quartile, median for this data set.